Hi there, I'm Giacomo, and in this video we will have a look at how to use and to set up the custom Google Sheets LinkedIn formula. So since you may know that LinkedIn profiles are behind this login wall, this formula uses a workaround. Basically, it performs Google search through the API. So we first need to get our API key. These steps are going to be a little bit technical, but you don't need to understand what we're doing. You just need to follow along and you will see it's pretty easy. So first we have to go to this link, which is included in the guide, where we can get our API key for this project. So we click on this button. If you don't have it already, you will have to create a Google Cloud Platform project. So I'm just gonna create a new one. I'm gonna call it LinkedIn formula, but you can call it whatever you want. Click next. All right, our API key is this one. We just copy it, and don't bother to copy this one. Obviously, I'm gonna delete it once the video is gonna be done. So just remember to copy it and store it somewhere. We're gonna use it very soon. So the second thing that we have to do is go to this other link, also included in the guide, and we have to create a custom search engine. By doing this, we limit the Google search on a specific domain, in our case, LinkedIn. So we filter out everything that is not LinkedIn. So we start by giving it a name. Again, it can be whatever you want. Then we leave search specific site or pages, and we put this regular expression. We do add. We click here on the captcha if they ask it. Create. All right. Here we can customize further. If you have a specific necessities for limiting it to a specific region, you can do it. But we will leave it as it is. And here we have the search engine ID, which is the thing that we're looking for. We copy it and we paste it in the same place where we pasted the API key for now. All right, it's time to go to the code finally. So you can click on my GitHub page and just copy this whole code as it is by clicking here, copy raw content, perfect. Then we move to our sheet. Basically, you have to move to the sheet that you want to use the formula in. Then you go to extensions, AppScript. It will open this AppScript editor, and you won't see all this stuff. You're just gonna see code.js or main.js. You just click here in this pane, and you just paste the whole code. Hit save. And give it a cold run. The first time you run this function, be sure to select this function, LinkedIn profile. Is gonna ask you for access. It may look pretty scary, but there's nothing to fear about. Basically, what it's telling it is that you want the right to use external services. In this case, we're using Google API, and we need the right to write on the document. So pretty normal stuff. The only thing that you want to make sure, in case you're gonna be sharing this code or this Google Sheet, that you delete your API key and your search engine ID before sharing, because these are tied to your personal Google account and you don't want somebody else to use your API key or your search engine ID. So keep in mind to delete these, as I'm gonna be doing at the end of this video. So now we put our API key and search engine ID, so we're done. We can test it out. So we just close this window and we go back to our Google Sheet. In case the formula is not gonna show up, we just refresh it just to make sure. And now we write equals We start typing, LinkedIn profile. And here you can see that it has documentation already, exactly like a built-in function. And we have 3 parameters that we can put: query, company, and index. If you click here, we have some more information. So query the person or company whose profile you want to find on LinkedIn. So you can obviously write it by hand, or you can just reference it. Oops. There we go. This is me. And the second parameter is company, and is a Boolean, meaning true or false value, and is optional, as you can see. So put true if you're looking for a company, or false if else, basically. The default is false. So in the case that the query value is a company, we have to put true. In our case, is me, I'm a person, I'm not a company, so I won't put anything. And the index is the most complex one, but we first try to see if it works, and then we will talk about the index. All right, that's me. So everything looks good. You have this nice preview is if you just hover on the link. And let's go back to the index thing. So we're here in the formula, and let's try to see what it says. If you just skip the company, if you want to skip the company, you can just put another comma or a semicolon, depending on the language of your settings. Let's read together. Get a different result index. Default is 1. Write 0 to return all the results. So basically, as I said at the beginning, the formula works by making a custom Google search. So the result is going to be a list of possible links. And it starts with the assumption that the first link is going to be the best one. But while in most cases this is true, in some others it won't. Let's imagine, for example, if you have a very common name. So in that case, it may be the second or the third or the fourth. So I added this last parameter, index, to give you a little bit more flexibility to overcome this structural limitation of this formula. So basically, if you put 0, you're going to see all the results. So let's put 0, and let's see what happens. So by looking at my name, we see all the results that are limited. And here we see some very weird names. I have no idea why they show up, but whatever. The Google search is showing up this name. And for me, the first one is the correct one, as for most people. But if we want to get the second, for instance, we have this convenient list. So besides on the left of the link, there is this index number. So let's imagine that our name is, our profile is the second. We just write 2, and it's going to take the second one. If we don't write anything, it's going to default on the first one. All right, let's see the last thing. Let's see how it works by looking for a company. Oops. There we go. Let's see what happens if I don't put the second parameter. So it's looked for a random person. Maybe it works for Airbnb, I don't know. But then we put the value true in the company parameter, and it's going to be looking for a company, and it found Airbnb perfectly. So as you can see, it's pretty flexible. It's good enough. It won't work in all cases, but it can save you a lot of time. The last thing I want to mention is the limitation of the quotas. So Google Search API is free, but is limited to 100 queries per day. If you really want to have more, you can pay for extra, meaning $5 for 1,000 queries, which are a lot. Just bear in mind that a query is going to be performed every time you change something in the content of the reference cell. So if I change something here, it's going to rerun. So it's going to take one query when called down from my quota. And whenever you reload or open the document, all the formulas are going to rerun. So let's imagine you have 100 people here with 100 links and 100 formulas. You're gonna eat through your quota in one go. So the best way to handle that is to just copy all the formulas with their results, since you need basically once, you don't need it to recalculate, and you select all of them, you copy, and then you paste as value. This is gonna get rid of the formulas and is gonna leave the values, which is basically what you want. So in this case, you prevent unwanted and unnecessary calls. And that's it. I hope this guide helped you to set it up, and that this formula is gonna save you some time. The formula is completely free to use, but it's under MIT license, meaning, again, it's free, but you just have to give credit to the author, in this case, yours truly. If you are curious, we can have a look at what else can be done. So if we move to this other tab, we will see how to find all the profiles in one go instead of using a formula. This is very good for bulk processing, obviously, while the formula is made for convenience. So if we click here on Find Profiles, you found all the profiles in one go. Let's imagine to have hundreds of them. Obviously, given that we have enough calls, it's gonna find all the profiles in one go. And again, it's not a formula, so it's basically an hyperlink formula, but this is a built-in one, but it's never gonna eat more quotas than it needs to. Another thing that we can do is, once we have a profile, we can use another custom-made formula that I made that is going to look for all the other information. This formula is much more complex, and it uses a scraper to find the information directly on LinkedIn. So here we have to put the URL, and it's gonna find all the rest. So there's my mail, my description, my image. That should be the placeholder one because my image is private. Good, it's just for people that are connected to me, and my website. Let's just transpose the results here to have them pose in columns. There we go, perfect. So this is just a sneak peek at what is possible. The code of these formulas is not refined, so it's just for you to see what can be done. In case you're interested, just comment this article, comment the guide, or write me or subscribe to the newsletter, and let me know if you want me to keep doing this kind of content. All right, thanks for listening.